name is Yancyabril. I'm a singer-songwriter from New York City. If you don't know me, I am back and we are here with Xavier. And we are going to resume our second half of our fun trivia slash interview of our artistry. So, how you doing? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much. Shout out to Yancyabril for the killer intro. Come on, personality's on fire. As you guys know, I'm Xavier Solís. I'm a singer, songwriter, performer based out of Toronto, Canada. All the Maple Leaf fans, we're loving it. And yeah, so I'm based out of Toronto. I come from Latin American family, so I'm influenced with Latin American music and Canadian music. So really big fan of both and really happy to do our second half of this trivia slash interview slash get to know you chat, which is exciting.
Wonderful. Thank you for that intro. So let's get started. I really want to know, what's your writing process? Are you more of writing in your own room or collaborating in the studio? To each their own, right?
Yeah, yeah. So my writing process, that's a good question. Essentially, I write in a variety of different ways. I started writing when I was about 7 years old, 8 years old. So I would challenge myself to write in different ways. And that's like by myself on the piano. Sometimes I would start with the music and then words would come to my head. And then I would start actually, putting words to the music. Then other times I would just have lyrics that would just come to my mind and I would add music to it after the fact. So I spent a lot of time writing by myself. And then when I teamed up with my current producer, Tonics, Mateo Molina, we actually started writing together, which was a very challenging thing for me because I had been writing by myself for so long. So now I think I'm pretty confident writing with other people. It's kind of like it's learning how to kind of put your ideas in and then take a step back and then, let it grow. So yeah, so my writing process really ranges from doing my own thing in my room on the piano, or just, writing lyrics down with someone else. Or sometimes I get lyrics from somebody. They're like, "Hey, I wrote you this verse. Let's run with it." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." And then we just end up, you know, making magic happen. Anything and everything under the sun.
Wow, 7 or 8 years old writing songs. I didn't start until I was 12-ish, maybe.
Okay, okay.
Amazing.
Thank you.
So let's see. There was something I wanted to follow up on. Collaboration.
Mm,
You mentioned that you now write a lot with your producer, Tonics,
yeah.
who's amazing, by the way.
Shout out
Um,
to Alex.
yeah. So what's that collaboration process like? What is it for you? Because I know collaborating can be a bit tough, especially like for somebody like me who's used to writing on their own. Uh,
Mhm.
Sometimes, and like you said, you have to take a step back, give
Yeah.
your ideas and then take a step back. So how do you manage collaborating?
Yeah, it's so funny that you bring this up because I was literally having a discussion with somebody about 2 days ago with Tonics actually, regarding this. And I said that collaboration is essentially the testing ground for how well you can check your ego. I
Ooh.
always say that, right? And it's funny because we as artists, right? We all have egos. Let's be real, and it's especially when you know you're good at what you do, it's there, right? It's there. It's normal. We're human, right? But like Quincy Jones says, the moment you walk through that door, the ego's got to stay out there, right?
I was just
And
gonna mention.
yeah, we gotta make sure that the project and the product and the music is our baby. We have to tend to that, right? So essentially, when I'm working with Tonics, one of the huge things is that him and I come from a live musician background, right? So him and I actually both started off in church. I started off, playing piano, singing backup. My dad was a worship leader, and my mom sang backup. She played drums. Mateo's family, they all played in church as well. He played in church. So we all come from live instrumentation, collaborating with other people musically. So because of that, the way we always approach it is kind of like a jam session. We'll sit down together and we'll just make music together. But the other process is now when it comes to writing, we have moments where we bump heads and we'll say like, I'm like, "Oh, I think this is a great line." He's like, "No, man, that's cheesy. You can't be saying that. We got to do it like this." And I'm like, "I feel passionate about this and I really think that this should be in the song, And you have moments like that, right?
Mhm.
But I think that as time has progressed, now we're at a point where we're we think and we sit down and we say, well, what's going to benefit this song the most, as opposed to just gratify and satisfy what I'm feeling in this moment emotionally, right? And it's a moment of selflessness, right? Where you really have to say, I'm going to take myself out of the picture and I'm going to put this song at the forefront. So he'll say, I really like this verse. And I go, okay, I like that. How can we make it better?
Mm.
And he's like, you know what? That's a good question. And then maybe sometimes we can make it better, or sometimes we've just exercised everything we have, and that's what it is, you know? But the idea is always, how can we do it better? How can we make it better? Because in the process of making things better, we make ourselves better as writers and musicians. And we, in a sense, reinvent ourselves along the way.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my 2 cents turned into $15.
Putting the song first. Putting the song first. Also check your ego at the door. Yes. I was just watching the Greatest Night of Pop
Yeah.
documentary on Netflix. So interesting, so like I don't even know what the word is. I was like fangirling from the screen. I was like, holy cow. What an amazing thing that was created with all of the biggest stars in American music, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Um,
That's
and your ego gets in the way and you can feel you could when you were watching it, you could even feel it through the screen. Like there's a
yeah.
lot of ego. And they're the greatest artists for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
They're good at it, at what they do. So yeah, yeah. I'm just happy you mentioned that. I wanted to mention. So, okay, next question. Okay, this was one that I was curious about selfishly. What made you want to collaborate with me?
Ah, really? It just came to you curiously, you know? She's like, the people want to know.
The people want to know, asking for the fans.
What made me want to collaborate with you? Couple stuff.
Okay.
Number one, I really, really had a large appreciation, a great appreciation for your voice, right? And I'm someone, so I come from a classically trained background, right?
Mm,
And because of that, I really do value vocal quality at the forefront of a lot of things. I always say you can have a bunch of backup dancers around you. I know a lot of people are actually gonna not gonna like what I'm about to say, but this is just the reality. You can have a lot of, theatrics, backup dancers around you, lights, camera, action. You can have major production in your music. You can have all the tech in the world. But if your vocals are not at the forefront and you're not bringing the best vocally as a singer, that's your job, you know? If you're not bringing the best as a singer, then ultimately I'm not in it, right? I'm not feeling it. For me, it's like I need to be compelled by your voice. If your voice is not compelling, it's
mm,
just another track,
mhm,
right? It's not a song, right? So that's how I felt. But when I heard you and I was like, you actually came up on my explore page actually, because I was looking through and then all of a sudden I saw that and I was like, and I saw you with the guitar. So you were playing with the guitar and then I think you were cracking a joke on stage or something like that. I forget what it was that you said. But you were pretty much making a joke on stage and you're like, guys, like, and you were like talking about like you were a little bit nervous or something like that. And it was cool because it was just realistic. It was relatable. It was something that I was like, wow, this is really nice. But also at the same time, I was like, I really, really love the voice. The voice is just there, you know? Great voice. Secondary to that, your branding was like really clean. Loved it, right? So I really appreciated that. And I was like, you know what? She's a Latin artist. I love that. I want to like we have to support one another and I would love to do that and collaborate. And you were in New York and I'm like I'm a huge fan of New York, so
yeah.
it was like check, 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 check.
Got you. Okay. All right. Thank you for those kind words. Thank you. And same to you. So actually, have you had vocal training? Have you studied music at all? Or is this something I know that you grew up in a very musical family,
Hmm.
but did you ever have any formal training or is it just from the soul?
Huh. I Okay, so I started off with self-taught everything, right, for many years. And, started off singing in church, kind of doing musical theater on the side. I fell in love with that for a long time. But I went to an arts high school. And in arts high school, I was having voice lessons every single day. And then my dad was like my first vocal coach because he was a singer. with a touring worship team, right? So I always had him as a vocal coach for a long time, and based off of that, I went into a high school arts program where I was doing a lot of voice lessons, and outside of that, I was doing private voice lessons outside of school as well. So it was like voice lessons in school, leave school, private voice lessons. And then I went to University of Toronto for classical voice and I studied opera.
Wow, okay. I didn't know that. I mean, you may have mentioned it, but
Yeah.
it's amazing. So how was actually now I'm like following up on that. How was that training like? I know opera is very different than what you're pursuing.
Mm,
Um but I'm sure that what you've learned from those classical lessons, you're able to incorporate, I guess, healthy vocal singing,
yeah.
singing when you're doing your own original music, or maybe it adds a different kind of tone to you. Do you think that what you learned in the classical genre is something you're able to incorporate in what you're doing now?
Big time. Big time, big time, big time. Hmm. I have to say that classical training is what sorry, I literally drank like milk
Uh-oh.
before this, so that's not helpful. Guys, don't drink milk before you do interviews or sing.
Dang, especially.
But basically, yeah, it helped me create a strong foundation and a strong understanding of what, you know, longevity for singing is all about, right? So being able to sing for extended periods was a big thing in opera, right? Because operas could go for anywhere between 3.5 hours to 6.5 hours, right? And you're singing without microphones over an orchestra, and it's it's a lot, right? And especially because you're doing it 4 or 5 days a week. So when you get into that, especially when I got to university, I was really under a high demand for vocal health just because I had 1 to 1.5 hour lessons for like one-on-one private voice lessons. And then I also had, anywhere between 3 to 4 hour, ensemble lessons when you're singing with choir. And then you also have your repertoire classes where you're singing for, probably another 2, 3 hours at a time, right? So in a day, I'd probably be using my voice, not talking, but just singing anywhere between 6 to 8 hours a day.
Wow.
And it was a lot, right? So now fast forward to today, I'm a touring musician. I perform with Motown and we do shows and I'm singing for like 2, 3 hours.
Mhm.
And I have to have my voice going, 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 going. And the classical training really helped with that. And it really allowed me to be able to say, I'm gonna really rely on my technique, really support my sound, and really just let my voice go. And I'm not gonna have to worry, squeeze or push it or anything like that. And aside from like performing, I am a vocal coach on the side. So
Mhm.
it's something that has really helped. Classical music really, really helped. I'm a diehard classical music fan. People that know me really well know that I'm a nerd for it. So it's nice.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I did take a few classical voice lessons in college, and best decision ever. I learned some amazing techniques.
Yeah.
Um, I can sing a few arias.
Okay, okay. What arias did you learn?
Girl, I'm sorry, I say girl to even straight men. Look, it's a really bad habit.
You
I don't know that many actually. I know like three.
know
One of
three
them
straight
I
men?
actually forgot. It's
Oh, arias you're talking about.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought you said you only know three straight men. I was like,
Oh no.
I was like, wow, me and two others,
No, this is the ADHD kicking in. I'm like having two different conversations
I
here.
was like, wow, New York is just waving the flag over there.
No, 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 no. I say girl to straight men, and it's a really bad habit. I need to stop. Um, yeah, no, but I only really know like three arias, and I forgot all of the names of it. But yeah,
Okay.
it's a really amazing thing to be able to do and learn. So yeah, that's amazing. Serious question for you.
Tell me.
Pupusas or tacos?
Pupusas every single day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 110%. That's not even a question. Just
Pupusas are really good. I
pupusas.
was in New Orleans and I went to the Salvadorian spot and I had like three different pupusas in one hit. You know what? It was a lot, but it was good.
It's never too much.
It was a lot.
Li-
I think I could have been well with one,
Listen,
but
Luther
it was good.
Vandross said it. it's never too much, you know? And it's just, I'm telling you, pupusas are just one of those things for me, right? Like,
Yeah.
pupusas and empanadas for me.
Yeah. Oh, empanadas.
Okay, okay, hold on. Empanadas from where though?
It depends. I mean, from the truck. That's where I usually get it. The
From
truck.
the truck.
Those are the best ones. There's
Okay, I
this
meant country-wise.
oh, country wise. I don't know.
She's like from the truck, you know?
Yeah, from the truck. I mean, that's the only way to get it. Just kidding. No, I don't have I mean, I don't really have a specific place. They're all pretty good. The ones I've had. Because out here in New York, I go to very specific places for my
Okay,
Latin food. So they've all been good.
okay.
No bias.
You know what we have to do? You're gonna
Hmm.
have to give me a tour in New York of all the Latin food places.
Oh, but I mean, that's a given, of
That's
course.
like that's like we're gonna be like vlogging that, you know?
Of
It's gonna be
course. Um, so actually, I want to go back to asking on the whole Motown touring
yeah.
experience. How did that come about? How did you become a member of this band? What is it like? All the details, everything.
Yeah. Spilling the tea. All the
Spill the
chisme.
tea.
Tecito con chisme, I need some tecito.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so how did it start? So essentially I was, deep up to my neck in opera for a while. And what ended up happening was that I went to do a free gig for a friend. He was like, "Hey, I'm doing a private event. Can you come out, play, sing a couple of tunes? I'll bring the keyboard. I just want you to come out and entertain. I want you to be like the main performer." He's like, "I don't have a budget for this, but I'm trying to create like a jam session every week, and I would love for you to, be kind of one of the faces that people would be like, 'Oh, snap, if he's performing, I'll come through.'" I was like, "Yeah, sure, sounds good." I went, I played some songs. A friend of mine took a video of me, and then I posted it on Instagram. And what ended up happening was that if you scroll like far back in my Instagram, you'll see it. I used to have a beard at that time. And what ended up happening was that that video got discovered by my current music director. She moved here from Australia, and she was pretty much commissioned by a promotion company and touring agency to put together a Motown show for Toronto to tour around Canada. And what ended up happening was that she was looking for different singers, and she came across my Instagram page. She used hashtag Bruno Mars, and she found me, which was funny. And then what ended up happening was that she saw it and she was just like, "Wow, like I'm looking for somebody with that kind of voice." And yeah, so she DM'd me, which is weird because I really don't check my DMs, right? And sometimes you get DMs about people being digital marketers or
Yeah.
this, or they're going to help you with that. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, and nothing is grammatically correct either, right?"
Mhm.
So her message came in, everything was spelled correctly, proper punctuation. I was like, "You know what?" I'm like, she's using the right syntax. I think this might be legit. And yeah, we ended up calling, and she told me, she's like, "I'm doing a Motown show. I would love for you to be a singer in it. And are you interested?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." Total stranger. I have no idea what this is. But yeah, long story short, now she's actually one of my closest friends, my music director. She's a really dear friend of mine. And we've been touring since 2022.
Wow.
Every year we do a Christmas tour from November and December, and then from January to, I want to say, October, we're just doing our regular Motown shows at different festivals, different theaters around all the provinces. You guys call them states. For us, they're provinces.
Okay.
Right? She's like,
Yeah.
yeah, so we tour them across different theaters, different concert halls. And yeah, I do all the Stevie Wonder and Jackie Wilson tunes, right?
Mhm.
Um, and it's been really great because it's been an opportunity to really just expand into a repertoire that is just timeless, a classic repertoire that I have always loved. My dad has always been a fan of Stevie Wonder, and we would watch his concerts and recordings and stuff. So it was wicked to be able to be on stage and being like, "I'm the one closing the show singing Sir Duke. This is a fine moment," you know? So a lot of really, really exciting things with it. And the exciting part about it is that, you spend so much time with such beautiful people that make such beautiful music with you. And you go through highs and lows. You know, some shows you're not feeling your best, and some shows you're feeling like you're on top of the world, and you go through every one of those motions together. And it's really special because you become a family, right? We call them we're the Motown family, right?
Mhm.
So it was really great. We went through ups and downs because we got picked up and dropped by different promotion companies because different promotion companies were interested in different things. And then we ended up getting picked up by a very famous one here in Toronto called the Beaches JazzFest. The promotion company that owns that festival bought our show, and pretty much now they pretty much program us and tour us. And through that, thank God, we do a lot of fun stuff.
That's truly amazing, and it must bring you so much joy being able to perform so frequently and also
Yeah,
with other people who are passionate about music and performing as well. And I'm sure you get to call them your lifelong friends.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to actually also, it's amazing how social media works. Like it's a blessing and a curse, you know?
Yeah,
Like what's meant to be is meant to be, how she just randomly found you. Um, that's amazing. I love stories like those. Um, so I think we
of
have time for one more question. I don't
course,
know.
let's do it.
What's something you want to accomplish in 5 years with your music?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. Um, what is something I want to accomplish with my music within 5 years? I definitely want to tour my music, right? I gotta be honest, I love touring. And I'm not saying it the way Michael Jackson said it, right?
I love
I
to.
love touring. I go through hell. I
I
go through
go through
hell.
hell.
Right. Okay, but you guys all know that I hate this, right? You all understand. Okay, I love touring, you know? So it's like, and I genuinely do enjoy it. I really do, right? Because I love being in front of different audiences. I always say like my home is on stage, right? So as much as I love being in the studio and I love making music and everything, my end goal every time I make music is I say, how am I going to perform this live? And how is this going to look, sound, and feel live, right? If it's not a song, if it's a studio record, it's amazing, but it also for me needs to be something that can be done really well in concert, right?
Mm.
That's something that is very important to me, right? So that's why I love live instrumentation so much. So with that, to answer your question of what I would like to do in 5 years with my music is I want to tour my music. That's the plan, to tour my music, right? Which is we're already sort of gonna start doing that next year. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, with a new project that we're actually building right now, which is essentially music. It's gonna be a touring show from the same promotion company that handles our Motown show. I'm building a show which is the best of Michael Jackson, Bruno Mars, and Xavier Solís. And because my music a lot of times is very similar to that of Bruno Mars, as I've been told, it allows for me to actually be like, hey, do you like Michael Jackson? Yeah. Do you like Bruno Mars? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm Xavier Solís. Listen to my music, right? So it's like kind of doing all that while kind of like slipping in original music in there. Really great opportunity to do that. And then the goal is to be able to have a show that is purely just my original music and tour that, right? But that obviously comes with having a very, very strong fan base.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Well, that's so amazing. I'm so excited for everything that's to come for you. You're such a hardworking person,
thank
um,
you.
and you're so passionate about what you do. So I'm very excited for you. Uh, and well, thank you so much for letting me ask you what's the word? Intrusive questions. Thank you for letting me ask you some questions. And yeah, I'm excited for your new releases, and I hope that all of you have been enjoying our remix, a little remix that it's out there.
Don't
Don't
make me
make me
wait.
wait, right? So thank you.
And thank you for asking such great questions. Thank you for being part of the remix, which is, wicked, right? It was an unsolicited message that I sent to her that she was just like, "Hi, I'm busy, but yes." Right? Which works out, and I appreciate you. You know, you're a real hardworking musician yourself. I see you. I see you
Yeah.
grinding. I see you hustling. I know you're doing your thing, and Yancyabril is a performer in New York, who's really just paving the way, putting some respect on that name, which I really really love to see, and it's inspiring, right? It's amazing to see people who are growing and to become a friend, through that it's like, hey, it's like I love to be able to see my friends and people that I care about succeeding, doing good things. At the end, I say there's room for all of us to do something, right? And I love to see it. So you're killing it. You're talented. You are so gifted. God blew you a kiss and gave you a beautiful voice. So I'm looking forward to all of the other collaborations on the way, right? And hopefully we'll do some more videos when I go visit New York.
Yes. We have a whole itinerary planned. Like we're set.
Music making, food
Food,
tour,
yep.
live shows, you know. Everybody's watching this and they're like, we get it, we get
We got it, we got
it. Right. But I appreciate it so much, guys. Yancyabril, follow her. I'm gonna be including all of her handles for her social media on this, as well as my social media as well. Yancyabril, thank you so much. Appreciate you. You're a star.
it.